Think of the universe as sort of like a radio station, maybe a radio, and that if you want to experience a different reality, then what you must do is change the radio station you're on. Now, here's an interesting thing using that metaphor. All the radio stations, they already exist. All that a radio tuner does, this is actually a soundbar, by the way, but I'm using it as an analogy, is all that happens is it picks up on different frequencies, and when you tune it to the frequency that you want of the radio station you want, that's then the experience that you have. Well, in the same way, there are different hacks, some of them sort of weird, that I've used to attract my dream life, and I want to share them with you. And some of it has to do with some deep metaphysical concepts about how reality works. Some of it's very simple, but I think that there's something in this video that's going to show you, it's really going to click into place for you. It's going to help you to dial to the radio station that you want. So that's exactly what we're going to learn in this episode. Let's get into this video right meow. So the first thing I want to share with you is why you are on the current radio station you might be at. And this is the interesting thing about the ego. Now, the ego, in a way, is our avatar in this reality. And what happens is, at a greater level, we are eternal spiritual beings, live in temporary human experiences. Now, what happens is we have this thing that is our avatar, that is our ego. And here's the interesting thing about the ego. The only job of the ego is to remain consistent to the way that it sees itself and to survive. The ego does not want to thrive. So the reason you are at maybe 92.6 FM, which is a reality where maybe you're working a 9-to-5 job you don't like, the only reason you're there is because it's been comfortable and because your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions and your actions have all been equal to that box. In a way, think about it like this. Let's say that this bowl right here represents the ego structure, what helps us to feel safe, and what we do is we remain in this little ego structure, even though it's a small bowl, and the reason we're in it is because of the safety that it provides, and it is the known. This is what we know. Now, if you were to put this bowl in this bowl, what you would then see is that you have the smaller bowl. Now, this is all the unknown. Now, the reason you haven't ventured off into the unknown is because this has felt safe. Now, one of the things, though, is being aware that that's a box, and that's a limiting box. And one of the ways and keys to this whole video is understanding that you must let go of being on the radio station of 92.4 or whatever station that is. You must be willing to let that go to then shift to a different frequency. For me, I used to work a 9-to-5 job selling women's shoes. I was very comfortable with it. I was making like 50, 60K a year, and thinking about going full-time on YouTube was kind of scary, but it had to come a point where I had to start to see myself different. I had to be willing to let go of the comfort that came with a 9-to-5 job that brought me success, or at least getting by for so long, for literally like 8 years. And I had to be willing to let that go. I also had to be willing to let go of really caring what other people thought, because now I'm going to be putting myself online, that was my passion frequency of like 95.4 FM or whatever. And to make that jump, I had to, one, let go of being at 92.4 to then be at 95.2. Okay, so I had to let go of that in order to then shift to that different reality. So one of the first parts of this principles or of this video is, first off, have a lot of clarity around the reality you want to experience. Have a lot of clarity as to what that is. I visioned myself as being a full-time YouTuber. So in order to become a full-time YouTuber, I had to let go of being a 9-to-5 job goer of selling women's shoes. I had to let go of the comfort that came with that. And then what I had to do is become aware of that and then wire this in. Here's the first kind of weird secret to vibrationally tune into the reality you want. That is to see it as natural for you. See it as natural. Seeing it as natural is very different than what most people do, because what most people do is they think about it and they put it on this big pedestal, and then it's vibrationally separate. Now, what you could do is you could literally flood your consciousness with other books of people that have done what you want to do. Watch other videos. I watched YouTube videos of how people went full-time on YouTube. And I began to normalize it in my own mind. It was funny. I was on Instagram yesterday. I was on Conor McGregor's. I find him a very fascinating character. I was looking at his Instagram. He follows a hashtag that's called billionaire homes. Now, I know that Conor McGregor's also into manifestation and things like that, But billionaire homes, maybe he's passionate about looking at really nice houses. Maybe he's in the market for looking for a house. But my guess is it's also a way to normalize his consciousness with that kind of lifestyle because that's something he values, that luxury. Now, for me, the way that I did this is I realized that I used to think, and this is honestly the way that I used to manifest, is I was focused on more so thinking better thoughts. I was like sitting on my couch and I was like, I want to manifest this, I want to create this, but it wasn't actually natural for my self-image. So this is the other part of I want to share with you is change your self-image and start to literally wake up and view yourself as that version of you. Here's another hack I used to do. I've shared this many times on the channel, but I figured I would share it again. Every single one of us has a subconscious mind that is running most of our life experience. Now, something that I've been doing for years is every night before I go to bed, what I do is I imagine not just what I want, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but what you want, you actually lack. But instead what I do is I would imagine me being the ideal version of me, and I would imagine me waking up as that version of me. So what I would do is I would feel that emotion over my heart, and I would imagine scenarios that I was in where that was my reality. So when I was working the 9-to-5 job, I'd imagine waking up every day, putting up the camera, making the videos, editing the videos, knowing I didn't have to go to a job I didn't like. And what I would do is I would focus on that. And then I would focus on being that. What would it feel like? And then I would infuse a certain level of certainty that that is my reality. No matter what the outer reality shows me, I would feel it. And then as I'd go to bed every night, that would seek into my subconscious mind. In the last 30 minutes you're awake is when you're influencing the subconscious mind the most, because the subconscious mind speaks in the language of feeling. So as I was doing that, as I was going to bed, I was wiring in this new self-image of me being it and me feeling it. Then what I would do is I would get up every morning. It's very simple. I'd go over. I did this at the other house I used to live in, but I have this little meditation station area, and I would meditate, close my eyes, and I would do it again, and I would set the intention that that's my reality. Now, this seems like the energetic component of it, and it really is, but this is a way of normalizing and realizing that once you attain the goals that you are dreaming about now, it will feel pretty normal to you. I remember I would dream about making the kind of abundance that I make now, living in the kind of house that I live in now, and I used to dream of it, and I used to imagine what that would feel like, but by the time it comes, you want to know something interesting? It feels pretty damn normal. It doesn't feel like some crazy thing that's on a pedestal, and it's not this, thing that we make very, very important. So that's the very first kind of hack that you use. You want to normalize it. You want to surround yourself with people and with things that really reflect that back to you in a very powerful way. Now, the second vibrational hack that I want to share with you is simple. I've talked about it a lot, but really it is so important, and a lot of people don't do it. And that is realizing that whatever you want, you lack. Whatever you want, you lack. If you say, I want to be at reality station of 94.8, but what you're saying then is, I want it, which means I'm not on it. So whatever you want, you lack. Now, how do you let go of the wanting? You let go of the wanting by being present to the moment. Now, here's the key to this process. Why are you doing what you're doing? Are you doing it because of the results that it will get you, or are you doing it because it's an end of itself? This is key. And I think there's a lot of people that don't use this, and this is really the key to all this whole process. So when you're studying this or looking at this, think of it like this. If you do something, anybody that gets on YouTube that wants to be famous on YouTube, it normally doesn't happen. Why? Because they're doing it as a result to get somewhere else. When you're doing it because it's what you love doing, what happens is it's an end of itself, and people feel that passion, people feel that energy. When I was making daily videos consistently, it did change my self-image, but the other part of it was I really was enjoying making the videos. And because I was present to the moment, people would feel that energy and they'd be like, oh, I like watching these videos. So anything you do that is a means to an end, you are vibrationally kind of butchering it up. And the key to this is instead do it as an end of itself. This will help with the process of not wanting it so much, because you're not doing it, wanting it to get somewhere else. What you want to focus on is being more present to the moment and enjoying the process along the way. So wanting equals lacking. I remember there's times, like even with this house that I got, This house that I got, I really wanted it, and when I was getting it, there was one, I've had this thing with houses. Almost any house I've gotten, there's been like competition for it and stuff. But what I do is I see it as natural. I go to bed and I just know and kind of have this sense of certainty that I'm gonna get it, and I don't focus on the wanting, which means the lacking. Have you ever really wanted a relationship? You probably repelled love from coming into your life. Have you ever wanted money? You probably felt that resistance and people weren't as attracted to your energy and you weren't making as much of it. So the key to this whole entire process is realizing that the more you let go of wanting, the more you will vibrationally resonate with it. And one of the most powerful parts that go into your vibration is what you are doing and your passion. Are you passionate about what you are doing? That's one of the main keys. If you do something because it's for money, you may not be passionate about it, and people will feel that off of you. Doing what you're passionate about is something that is a high frequency, and when you're in that high frequency, it's almost like there's more things that are just energetically brought to you. Now, many of you watching this video, I believe, are people that are here and you have some type of gift, maybe some type of message. Maybe you're meant to be sharing ideas out in the world. Maybe you have a service, or you're a coach, or you're a healer, or you're a Reiki practitioner. I don't know. But it's very important that you commit yourself to whatever that is, because that is the highest frequency of you adding value, of you being who you really came here to be. And it's going to put you on a timeline and in that frequency to where things come towards you. It's a very dynamic frequency. So there is something, by the way, if you're seeing this video, I'm going to be doing a live training with my buddy Victor Otto here the first week of March. If you want to see it's going to be a Friday, the first weekend of March, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be a 3-day challenge for going full-time with your purpose. It's totally free. You can click the link below and join that. We're going to show you how to go full-time, how to do what you love. It's much easier than you think. You don't need thousands and hundreds of thousands of subscribers in order to do it. You can do it by having a simple system in place, and we've helped many, many people do this, and we want to help you. So full-time purpose, 3-day challenge. Click the link below if you want to join it. And if you're watching this video after that, maybe there's a replay or something, I'm not sure. But anyways, it'll be very powerful, very important. But that's one of the most important parts of this is your vibration. What energy state are you in? And if it's something you're passionate about, it's going to be a higher level thing. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about is committing and taking action, knowing that action is in a way of changing the dial on your radio station. So for a long time, like I said, I was on the couch, I was trying to manifest, but I wasn't actually taking action. I had this grandiose idea, like I was gonna meet Tony Robbins and all this cool stuff was gonna happen. And he was gonna put me on, and I had this glorified image in my head. But then what eventually I realized is, you know what? I'm gonna stop waiting for the outside to change, and I'm gonna change the inside, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna commit. So you have to commit to that vision, and you have to commit on being it every single day. What you do over every day compounds over time. So what I did is I decided and committed to daily videos on YouTube, even while I had a 9-to-5 job selling women's shoes, and I was very busy, but I committed to that vision. So if you want to make the dominant reality of 94.5 FM your reality instead of 92.1, what you want to do is you want to be dominantly in this vibration, which means taking action as this version of you. Action is in physical reality, one of the ways that we tune to that vibrational reality. If we are being it, we then start to experience a reality that has reflection of it, all those characteristics of that 94.5 FM. So the key to this is being it every single day, because what you do every day compounds over time. But if your dominant reality is you working a 9-to-5 job and you're only dipping your toes into this frequency every now and then you'll find that you don't actually shift to it. I was working the 9-to-5 job, and here's the thing. This is a higher frequency because this is what you're passionate about. So once you start doing this consistently, it starts to take on momentum. Now, when you are working the 9-to-5 job that you may not like, there's a certain momentum there, but as you commit to this, as you see yourself as this version of you, as you go to bed at night and imagine what that feels like, and as you are consistently doing it and seeing it as natural and doing it because it's an end of itself, it becomes your dominant reality. But you have to be willing to let go of the comfort of this radio station. So this is the key to making the shift. And once you begin to do that, it changes everything. Now, I also have a meditation that's on shifting parallel realities. I know it sounds esoteric, but basically what it does is it gives you permission to let go of this reality to then just be this reality. It's one of my most popular meditations. It is, read the comments to see what's possible, because there's thousands of people that have had profound experiences. You can click that below. It's the most powerful meditation for shifting to a parallel reality, and that's the title of it. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe, like this video if you like this style of video. It's a new style that I've been doing, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, I'll talk to you guys on the next video. Peace, much love, and namaste.